On today's podcast clip, I got a great question from Corey, and I really, really love this subject. Corey says, I returned an amp for repair, and they ghosted me after 3.5 months. My local shop, Drum City Guitarland, emailed them. Within 2 hours, they shipped a new amp. Couldn't have done it without a local shop. You know, that is an interesting point, and that, Corey, can I tell you, thank you so much for bringing that kind of comment up, because a lot of times, and I mean, a lot of times when the direct-to-consumer through vendor versus retail store argument is made, I think everybody makes the wrong argument. And the argument is always like, well, vendor's never going to have customer service like a retail store. I'm like, look, they can hire your employees, okay? So when somebody goes, oh, no one does customer service like us, I'm like, you hired somebody to do customer service, they can do it too. And if a Fender sells direct, I'm using Fender as an example, if Fender sells direct and they get to keep 30, 40, 50% more margin that they were giving the dealers, they can take that money and hire the people to give you good customer service, right? So when people tell me that buying direct will never work because the customer service experience will never be the same as stores, I'm like, I call BS. I think it could totally be done. However, Corey has found the one argument that I can't figure out the angle on, which is this. What is nice about a retailer like Guitarland and Drum City is that the retailer, when they make the phone call, okay, that company is not looking at a lost sale. They're looking at lost sales. So you have an amp and you call them and you say, hey, look, I need this amp replaced. And they're like, you're one person with one problem with one amp, and you can go away, okay? But when a dealer calls them and says, I want this customer taken care of, and I'm the customer too, and I spend X amount of dollars with you, right? It's a big deal, right? So there can be some weight given. So that's one thing that dealers do have the power to do for us, is they can, and I don't mean just because of their big dealers. I'm talking about even a small dealer, because here's why. You know, when I would deal with any company, I would usually deal with a rep from that company. And I actually said this, I told you, sometimes I'm a nice person, but sometimes you can irritate me and I don't get belligerent. It's just not my personality, but I do have a mouth. And so let me tell you, this is a funny story happened with my Fender rep and me with an issue I once had. And he's an amazing guy. So I just want to say he had to take a lot of grief from me. But anyways, what happened with him once was I was having a problem like yours. Customer was unhappy. I was unhappy. I needed this problem fixed. And I was telling him why it needs to get done. And I used the whole, hey, I want a divorce strategy, right? I went nuclear option. I'm like, I don't want to be a dealer anymore unless you fix this. And he said, which I think he meant to calm me down, but it really did not go in his way. He said, Phil, Fender wouldn't even notice if you're not a dealer anymore. And I said, yeah, but your kids will, and you will when you lose your commissions from me. I said, Fender doesn't need me, you need me, because I'm buying from you. And you're getting commission from me. You need me. You need dealers. Fender will find another dealer, but it won't be your dealer. It'll go to somebody else. So you need to take care of me. And I didn't yell at him. I just seemed intense right now because we had that kind of relationship. And he's like, you're right. And he made the phone call and he told me, he's like, you're right. He's like, that's a great way of looking at it, right? Like, it's us. I said, it's not me against Fender. It's you and me. It's you and me. We're the ones. We're the working Joes. We got to make this, we're the ones. I got to pay the mortgage. You got to pay the mortgage. We got to work. I don't care what $1 billion Fender thinks. We got to work together. And they, at the end of the day, they want you to make me happy. You want to make me happy. I want to make you happy. And we both want to make this customer happy. We got to get this done. And so it doesn't matter. It's the same thing as what's happened with his amp. It's the dealer can speak up for you and they can have clout and weight. So that's one argument that I want to give out there when people say, the direct-to-consumer business model is going to suck if we lose the dealers. I absolutely think things like that are going to go to the wayside because the manufacturers will come up with more obstacles to drive us crazy. Great argument, Corey. Thank you for that. And thank you for letting me go on a tangent down memory lane. If you enjoyed this podcast clip, you can click the playlist down below or click one of these links right here to go to another pod clip, or you can go to the other channel, Phil McKnight, and watch the entire episode and full episodes, or stream them on Spotify, Apple, YouTube Podcast, and pretty much every platform you can find.